24 Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration in Accra, the state capital, appealed to well-meaning individuals and corporate bodies to join hands with governments to support and promote the welfare of dependents of the hero's past. Aiyedatiwa, who saluted the late Governor Oluwaru to remain enduring. Government House correspondent Wahab Ankole reports that the event was attended by top government functionaries, lawmakers, traditional rulers, serving and retired military officers.
Thank you very much.
The first assignment performed by Governor Aiyedatiwa on arrival at the government cenotaph in Akure, venue of the event, was to inspect Governor Aiyedatiwa described the event as the highest way of showing respect
readiness to forge ahead with the establishment of the security outfit, in spite of the fact that his second term election was still being contested in the court of law. This showed his avowed love and commitment to security of lives and property of not only the people of the Sunshine State, but that of the entire Southwest.
The governor observed to
ex-servicemen lucky enough to still be alive look on as top government functionaries, military heads and security chiefs in Ondo State pay respect to their colleagues who have fallen in the line of duties. But so do the wives and dependents of these gallant officers of the Nigeria Armed Forces seize their breath as they remember their husband heroes who paid in Ondo State. The State Microcredit Agency is however touching the lives of widows and dependents of the late officers with the disbursement of interest-free loans to enable them smile through the task of survival. Chairman of the agency, Nike Ademujimi, said the 13th edition of the loan
and they left dependents, their children. Some even left pregnant women. The governor, Lucky Orimisa Aiyedatiwa, approved 30 million naira for widows of fallen heroes. And we have gone to the barracks to do documentation of the widows.
Administrative Secretary of Ondo State Microcredit Agency, Peter Akinbade, who encouraged the beneficiaries to repay the loans to amass more benefits, described the process of benefiting from the initiative as seamless.
This is an interest-free loan that is given to them year in, year out. Government, in its avowed determination to assist these widows to stand on their feet following the demise of their husband, government continue year in, year out to make funds available. So it is a conviction that they will also live up to expectation by repaying. As they are repaying, we will continue to increase the amount of money given to them.
Adiza Muhammad lost her husband in 2021 in line of duties. She and her fellow widow, Blessing Bassey, are beneficiaries of government's loan intervention.
It's not easy. It's not easy to cope with 4 children without no husband. It's not small thing. Some with husband, how they feel, talk less of we. No husband. It's just special grace of God we live with our children. So, as with this small loan, this we will help. It will do small things in our children's life.
On behalf of the widows at the Artillery Brigade Garrison, all the widows want to say a big thank you to Ondo State Governor, to to grace us as the widows, at least to remember the fallen heroes family. Want to say a big thank you, sir. The loan is interest free. Once they are giving you, that is what you are paying back. You'll be paying gradually.
These officers of the Nigerian Armed Forces, just like their counterparts across the country, have signed the dotted line not just to sacrifice their time, but their lives for the country. And it's safe to say they are living heroes that must be celebrated always. Sahira Ribisala, Osrc News.
Students of the Federal University of Technology Akure in Ondo State have protested the proposed hike in tuition. The protest led to gridlock on the busy Akure-Lesha road as the main blockage prevented people from entering and exiting the school premises. Omorion Laungbiji monitored the exercise and now reports. We'll bring you the full reports in the course of the bulletin. The Minister of Budget Planning, Atiku Bagudu, and the other stakeholders in the agricultural sector have met to boost food production and reduce food inflation. The meeting held at the weekend in Abuja was aligned with the directive of President Bola Tinubu's declaration of food security emergency under the National Agricultural Growth Scheme and Agro-Pockets NAGS AP program. Speaking after the meeting, Kyari stated that the objective of the forum was to also review the implementation of the 2023-2024 dry season wheat production implemented in 15 wheat-producing states of the Federation. The minister said there were observed lapses in the implementation process, hence the need for collective and comprehensive evaluation of efforts to be put in place and provide remedial measures to stop their reoccurrence. In his remarks, Edwin said there were substantial intervention funds for the agri sector to produce more rice, maize, wheat, and cassava. You're still watching Osrc News at 7 after the break. Veteran journalists in Ondo State have on standard practices. Please to join us after this time out.
NHIA accredited hospital in Nigeria. To enroll, an individual contributes only 45,000 naira per annum. For a family of 3, 45,000 naira per annum. Group of 10 persons and above, 15,000 naira a person per annum. This amount is renewable every year.
If she moves, leaving no one behind.
Glad to know you're still there. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at Osrc TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel Osrc TV Ondo. Journalism should not be only seen as money-making venture but a service to humanity. The statement topped the list of discussion during an interactive session at the annual get-together organized by retired journalists in Ondo State. Omorion Laungbiji has the detail.
These are highly respected, famous, and renowned pen pushers who have contributed to the journalism profession in Ondo State and beyond. Annually, they reunite, reflect, and provide solutions to how the standard of pen professionals in the state can be improved upon, while ensuring that ethical standards of journalism are sustained. Chairman, League of Veteran Journalists, Ondo State Chapter, Banji Kuoloja, while thanking God for the divine strength given to the retirees, charged veterans on mentorship of young journalists.
That we are still alive as veterans is a big thing for us. We thank God for that. We should strive very hard to ensure that this profession is not abused anyway.
Others stressed the need for journalism ethics to be upheld.
So if you have at the back of your mind, I want to be a journalist. If you have at the back of your mind, you will suffer a lot of indications, but at the end of the day, you'll be happy that you are a journalist. I'm happy to be a journalist.
And of course, technology is a major factor. It has also come in to shape the whole process. In our time, you've got to go out to investigate. You don't rely on the social media to give you the advantage or to tell you what to do.
Some of our youth, they still believe that things have changed. And because of the modern technology, they distort some of these things. There is a code of conduct for practicing journalism. And the code of conduct does not change.
Guest speaker, also a renowned journalist, Dr. Dayo Duyile, who spoke on whether journalism is a money-making venture or not, laid emphasis on integrity, honesty, and hard work, which he described as the bedrock of the profession.
Journalism is a profession that gives information and develops society to the height that the society needs to get to. And by doing that, you will be doing a lot of job for humanity. And you don't expect payment except your salaries. But in being famous, people will invite you to come and do certain things for them. And they will pay you. That's legitimate. It's not brown envelope.
Chairman NUJ Ondo State Chapter, Leke Adigbite, in his remarks, lauded the contributions of the retired journalists to the profession, noting that the current leadership of the professional journalists in the state is working tirelessly to sustain its integrity.
As the current leadership of our union and our profession, as much as possible in the last few years, we built integrity for journalists in Ondo State.
The veterans at the end of the business session wined and dined, catching up on old times and their exploits while in service. Omoni Olahunbeji, Osrc News.
The Code of Conduct Bureau has invited the Minister of Interior Olubunmi Tunjiojo over the involvement of his company in an alleged 438 million naira contract scam uncovered in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. The CCB has commenced an investigation into the alleged breach of the Code of Conduct for public officers by the Minister. A company, New Planet Projects, allegedly belonging to the Minister, benefited from an alleged contract scam from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. CCB invited the embattled Minister to appear before it on Tuesday, January 16, 2024, at the CCB headquarters, Federal Secretariat Complex in Abuja. As the Port Harcourt Oil Refinery comes to life, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has concluded plans to hand over the government refinery to private operators. The NNPCL said it is seeking to engage reputable and credible operations and maintenance companies to operate and maintain the Port Harcourt Refining Company. This, it said, is to ensure reliability and sustainability towards meeting the nation's fuel supply and energy security obligations. And now to the foreign scene. Israeli tanks and aircraft have hit targets in southern and central Gaza as the war reached 100 days since the October 7 attack led by gunmen from the Islamist Army's movement. Communications and internet services were down for the third day running, complicating the work of emergency and ambulance crews trying to help people in areas hit by fighting. Saeed Arif Salah has more.
Eba Bakr and a family fled their homes in Gaza City for this makeshift tent in Rafah, along the border of Egypt. It's been 100 days since Hamas gunmen from Gaza poured into Israel, killing and kidnapping and provoking a massive Israeli military reprisal on the densely populated and deeply impoverished enclave. For Bakr, one of the 2.3 million residents of Gaza, it's been a nightmare of displacement and death.
We feel that we're in a nightmare, that we can't leave. We don't know what will happen next. Is there something worse than this?
Almost 24,000 Palestinians have been killed and 60,000 wounded in the invasion, according to Gaza health authorities. The invasion began after Hamas militants rampaged through Israeli communities on October 7, murdering 12 people and taking more than 200 hostages. Israeli in Tel Aviv rallied to mark 100 days since their loved ones were taken prisoner in Gaza.
In a way, it's been the same day for me. It's October 7th every day because I wake up to the same horror.
Levi Shatter is a mother of 19-year-old Naomi Levy. A daughter was last seen in this video posted by Hamas on October 7, being dragged at gunpoint by Palestinian gunmen in Gaza barefoot, her pants soaked in blood, her hands tied and her cuffs bruised and bleeding.
Now, Ma, if you hear me, if you see me, just hang in there. We're doing everything we can to bring you back. You will come back, you will return.
Israeli leaders say their military operations has two goals: eradicating the Hamas Islamist group that has governed Gaza and returning all the Israeli captives. Israel says it targets militant and does all it can to minimize harm to non-combatants. But the scale of the killing in Gaza and the dire humanitarian situation has shocked world opinion.
אחד מהדברים שהתבררו בלי כל ספק זה שאנחנו חייבים לנהל את המלחמה הזאת והיא תיקח עוד חודשים ארוכים.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at a cabinet meeting said he expected the war would take many more months and the already harrowing death toll is only expected to climb. 22 members of the Abu Huaid family were killed when an Israeli airstrike hit his home in Rafah in November. Muhammad Abu Oheda said the bodies of 3 of his nephews still remain buried in the rubble, with their names waiting here for now. He said he comes here every day hoping to recover their remains. It's been months of grief for Israeli or Palestinians mourning children lost or praying for children held hostage. And at the 100 days milestone, many now face fears for children in the future.
I am 6 months pregnant. Since the beginning of this war until now, I haven't visited any clinic for checkups. I don't know what the situation of my baby is. I don't know anything.
Sahid Aribisala, Osrc News.
Still on the foreign scene, Beijing called him a troublemaker and a dangerous separatist. Now, it will be Taiwan's next president. People of China picked their 64-year-old vice president, a doctor turned politician, William Lai Ching-te, to lead Taiwan through its testing relationship with China. And Irunke Kolawole has more.
A jubilant celebration in Taiwan's capital Taipei as the ruling Democratic Progressive Party presidential candidate Lai China swaps to power. The win rebuffed to China, which said it would not give up its goals to reunification had the celebration live audited to victory. The Taiwanese people have taken action to successfully resist the intervention of external forces, he said, adding, "This is because we believe in electing our own president but he added he was quite determined to safeguard Taiwan from threat and intimidation from China. His DPP party champions Taiwan's separate identity and regret China's territorial claims. And then run up to the election, China denounced Lai as a dangerous separatist and has repeatedly rebutted Kai's call for talks. The DPP was seeking a third successful four-year term, something that is unprecedented under Taiwan's current electoral system, mounting public frustration at domestic issues across its 8 years empowerment. It has lost its majority in parliament, making it harder to lie to pass legislation. Taiwan's election took place at a time of growing geopolitical tensions between Beijing and the United States, the latter in Taiwan's most important international backer and arms supply despite the lack of formal diplomatic ties with Thailand in response to the win. US President Joe Biden said the United States does not support the independence of Taiwan. The Biden administration has feared that the election and subsequent transition to a new administration would escalate conflict with Beijing. Since the last election in 2020, China has engaged in an unprecedented level of military activity in the Taiwan Strait, including holding 2 rounds of major war games near the island. Lai, however, said, quote, "Only peace will benefit both sides." Adirunke Kolaole, Osrc News.
In sports, the Super Eagles of Nigeria started their campaign at the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations in Ivory Coast on a shaky note. The three
mention inside Salvador. They've got Salvador has scored, and Equators 2 years ago are in the lead against the mighty Nigeria.
The ball from the back, 1-2 play, went to the flank, Equatorial Guinea, all the play.
Is there a quick response? Lukman with the left foot. Yes, there is. Osimhen. Flag stays down.
The Super Eagles will confront the host nation, Ivory Coast, in their second match of the tournament on Thursday, while Equatorial Guinea will slug it out with Guinea-Bissau. And with that, we conclude the news tonight, but before we go, a quick look at the top stories. We told you in the news that the Ondo State government has empowered dependent or fallen heroes and urged corporate bodies for assistance. We also told you that in line with government located towards approval, the Ondo State Microcredit Agency has disbursed 30 million naira to widows and dependents of fallen heroes. Students of Federal University of Technology at Kurefuta have protested hike in school fees. Federal government has met minds on how to reduce food inflation. Ministers of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, the Minister of Budget Line, Atiku Bagudu, and other stakeholders in the agriculture sector have met to boost food production and reduce food inflation. And from the foreign scene, we told you that Israeli tanks and aircraft have hit targets in southern and central Gaza as the war reached 100 days since the October 7 attack led by gunmen from the Islamic Hamas movement. That's the news tonight. Thank you very much for watching. Good evening.